Welcome. I'm Hank Giesecke. Welcome to Patriot Network TV. We are honored today to have Dr. Donald May with us. He's a retired Air Force officer, retired as a major. He is also a retinal surgeon, so he has a long medical background. He's worked at VA hospitals all over the nation. He trained at VA hospitals, and he is currently running for the 19th District for the House seat in Texas. And so welcome, Dr. May, and I'll call you Donald if that's okay.
Hank, that is quite fine. I have been talking a lot on the campaign trail and have just a little bit of laryngitis, so I apologize that my voice is not totally up to par this morning.
Not a problem. It's wintertime out here as well, so we're having the same problem. Anyway, it's an honor to have you with us today, and thank you for your service, most of all, and for the fact that you're willing to stand up and continue your service in the House. And so what we want to do today is cover some of the issues that you see as real major ones that we, as a nation, need to be working on. So I know that one of the major ones that you're concerned about is national security. So tell us a little bit about your thoughts on that and what we need to be doing to kind of get back on track.
Hank, thank you. The major problem we face in this country, of course, other than economics and the social chaos that our country has gone into, our number one priority has to be national security. The current administration has considerably weakened our national security. As you and I are aware, our country, our government is broken. Washington is broken. The Republicans and the Democrats have not worked together to maintain our national security, and we need to rebuild our military. We need to have a military that is in strength second to none, because the only way of preventing future wars is to have a military that none of our enemies will stand up to. It's the same thing as the police force in our town. If we have a police force in our town that the criminals know they can't get by, they're not going to commit crimes. Along with that is making our border secure. We do not need to keep out foreigners. We do not need to keep out people who want to come here to work, but we need to know who they are, and we need to know where they are in our country, and we need to know who and what is going across our border in both directions. And if we're going to have a secure country and a good national security, we need to restore God to our government and to our country. We cannot have a government, we cannot have a legal system, we cannot have a military that does not have the power of God with us in this endeavor. So we can't be sending our young men and women into battle without the comfort of clergy, of a Bible, of a crucifix, a Star of David, whatever it is that they need to sustain them in battle.
Yeah, that's a good point, Donald. We forget sometimes that the foundations are, everything else follows from what our foundations are as a nation. And so, again, like you say, we need to get back to our foundations. But let me go back to the border thing a little bit again also, because part of that, like you say, is also not only knowing who's coming in here, but be able to vet them effectively, which we're not doing so far, so that we know who is in here and what they're up to.
That is correct, Hank.
It's one of these things where, again, you know, we are a nation of immigrants, but we're a nation of immigrants of people who come here who want to be Americans, who accept our system. They're not here to overthrow it.
That is correct. And in the past, when we've had people here who do not accept our system or try to overthrow it, we have removed them from society and either deported them or incarcerated them.
Yes. And again, so it's one of those things where we're seeing now, even in Europe, the countries are starting to go and secure their borders again because they recognize that this threat is existential to their nation.
The threat is tremendous, and as we note on the news media today, many of the people in this country are heavily arming themselves, protecting themselves, and the governmental police and military are having to come into action to stop the terrorist attacks that are already occurring.
Yes. On the issue also of military strength is that it's one of those things where in my mind, always it's a matter of priorities. I mean, do we continue this welfare state, or do we try to get people off of that, which is better for them in the long run? Certainly, we know that, so that we do have the funds to make sure our military is properly supplied.
Hank, you're absolutely correct. The single purpose of our federal government in Washington, it was established by the states to protect us. Let's just quickly go back and visit our founding document, the Declaration of Independence. And I would suggest that our readers pull out a copy of the Declaration of Independence, read those first two paragraphs, those first 126 phenomenally crafted words by Thomas Jefferson. And it says there, number one, that there is a God. It says there, number two, that God gives us human beings unalienable rights. Those are rights that cannot be changed by anybody. They're fixed rights of God. God gives them to us. Right. Number three, it says, it repeats, those rights are God's laws, and the rights he gives us are unchangeable. Number four, it says our government is established for the single purpose of protecting the American people. And number five, it says we'll only be governed with our consent, and that carries right on over into the next document, which is our Constitution, which lays out the foundation of our government. It tells how our government works, what our government must do, and what our government cannot do. And it lays out how we are protected from any tyranny that might develop in people who are elected to our government. But that document starts out with "we the people," because we are the people who run the country, who are in charge, and who are in charge of our government, and our government is established, and the people in that government are elected to serve us and to protect us. Now, as far as welfare goes, as far as health care goes, as far as education goes, those are not delineated in the Constitution as jobs of the federal government. Our founding fathers did that very wisely. They gave that to the states. That was reaffirmed in the 10th Amendment to our Constitution, that these powers go to the people, the states, the communities. And we need to get welfare, we need to get education, we need to get health care back to the individual states, because that way we've got 50 states competing and making the health care system better, and making the education system better, and making the welfare system better. Because where you are sitting there in your city in Arizona, and I'm sitting here in Texas, with the poor people we have here, you have there, often aren't taken care of properly. They're moved around and abused by the bureaucrats and threatened by the bureaucrats. We need them taken care of by good people back in our communities, and in particularly community and religious groups who care about these people. Right. We've simply got to get the federal government out of areas it doesn't belong in, because it should be protecting us, and that means protecting our borders and protecting our national security, which includes a very powerful military deterrent force.
Yes. Well, and to me, I think one of those things that we miss sometimes also is the fact that people are better off if they aren't on the dole, if they are doing something productive. I mean, people are just that way. I mean, all of us are made in His image, God's image, and we're better off if we're doing something positive as opposed to sitting around with our hand out. And so we really do them a disservice to keep them on this welfare system that just makes them dependent. That doesn't help them.
Yeah, absolutely, Hank, and that's why we need to get it back to the community and to the state level, where the people in the community can determine what the needs are of this person. Do they have mental problems? Do they have physical problems? Right. What level of help do they need? In a welfare system that's tailored to help them. Do they need help with taking care of themselves in their home? Or do they need help with food? Do they need help in keeping their house warm? But those are the things that they may need, but they may not need all of the other things that the welfare system gives them. Right. So we need to get it back. So we've got individually tailored needs, and to get these people productive, because even people who are moderately disabled or even severely disabled, they can contribute, because the way God created us in His image is that we're defined by the work we do, by the accomplishments we do. If man and woman does not have some task to do, some work to do, they don't have anything significant in life. Exactly. In addition to fitting in the community,
Yes.
They need to take care of themselves. They need to have personal responsibility. And as St. Paul said, if you're able to work and you're not going to work, you're not going to eat.
You bet. Well, good. Well, listen, Don, this has been great to be with you today, and we again encourage everybody there that's listening to support your cause. Your website is up there for them to take a look at, to help you financially, to help you just with their prayers, and we thank you for being with us today. Thank you so much.
Hank, thank you so much. It's been good with you, and I greatly appreciate you and our fellow veterans. And these campaigns are very expensive to run, so any support, any financial support, in addition to prayers that my fellow veterans can send to me, would be most appreciated.
That's great. Thank you again for your service.
Thank you. God bless. God bless America.
You bet. Thank you.